last time we had class, we got one or two topics in there to finish, and then we've done pretty much all of the different factorization types that you're going to need. And some of these are extensions above and beyond with regular Algebra 2, but these ones weren't. Take a look. Some of the easier ones. Take a look at question 2. Hands up, please, and tell me what you would do to start off number 2 from the assessment you just had. What would your first step be to answer out 2? Yeah, and what was your GCF? All right, so what's left after you factor out a 3? All right, hands up, please. Even if you didn't get it right, you can tell me what we would do once we get to this point, because you're still not done yet. We can go further on what we have there. All right. Go ahead.
You can do 5x minus 2y, and then 5x plus 2y.
What's wrong if I leave that as my final? We got to make sure we give the 3 in front, but that's how we would go through and do it. This right here is your final. What about for, let's say, question 3? If we were to do out question 3, that's going to be a sum of perfect cubes. So again, I go through and list out, this will be a t up here and a 2 here. I'm going to have a binomial and a trinomial factor. What are the signs on this going to be? Who can recall that going across? We got one person. 3, 4. Beth, what do you want to say? Plus, minus, plus. Who can tell me, please, what the binomial factor for this would be? Really? 3 of us? What do you want to say? So the binomial is going to be t plus 2. It's left then right. What about our trinomial? 1 of us. 2. Oh. 3.
T squared minus 8t plus.
No? Give me the left squared. What's the middle term? Where does the middle term come from? 2 people? 3 of you? Yeah. Yeah. And what do we get then at the end? Not 8. 4. It's left squared, left, right, right squared. Now, this is one of these things, and it's going to be different for some of you. And again, giving you a little bit of responsibility and a little bit of self-governance sometimes bites you in the rear, because some of you go, oh, I'm pretty good on this. I'm pretty good on this. Those factor patterns really do need to be automatic. And we're going to do everything we can. Again, this was the other one. We had some people in the first section that got freaked out because they didn't, get a 100 on something. It's going to happen, especially if you don't know 100% of the material. It's tough to get 100. You have to make sure that you're really monitoring how much you know and how much you don't. And if this was a struggle, that means you've got to go back and check on those. This one here was kind of easy. This was a sum of cubes. Remembering you're going to have a binomial and a trinomial. My signs going across would be minus, plus, plus. The cube root over here would be 2a. This would be a 5b. So this would be 2a minus 5b. Then the left squared would give me 4a squared. The left right would be 10ab. And then the right squared would be 25b squared. How about for 5? What would we have to do for 5, or what factor pattern does that match? This is the time that I'm going, yeah, we're just going to have to start assigning like 30 or 40 a night. All right, so this is a difference of perfect squares, which means you go through and take the square root of the left, which is an r plus s, the square root of the right, which is a 3. Then you go through into square root of the left, which is r plus s, plus and minus the square root of the right. Your answer should simplify out to be a v. Okay? So those are the ones that you should get. And normally, Where did we leave off last time? Make sure, let's say this, go over please to the top of page 4. For those, everything else. So the only things we didn't get to are those two. All right, let's take a look to start off. Look at example number 8. Hands up, please, when you can tell me the first thing that you would do to factor down example 8, or determine the smallest things that we can multiply, or smallest terms we can multiply together to get the expression in 8. What's the first step in factoring that down? We've got one person, we'll wait for 5, 2, 3. Someone say before? Probably. Someone? Congratulations. Someone in this room right now. 1 out of 25. Go ahead. You picked yourself. All right, well, you ruined your own day. Congratulations. What would you do to start off example 8? You can tell me what we would do to start it off. Really? One person? 2? What do you want to say? Now, there's one problem. You said divide out a negative 3. Does 3 go into 16? Close, though. What else could we do? Let's just take out a negative 1. So if I take out a negative 1, look at now what I'm left with. And that's going to be a factor by guess and check. I need values in the first position. And again, when you do something like this out, I start off, well, you're obviously going to have a negative 1 in your answer to start. But when I'm doing this, in my head I'm going, well, we're kind of lucky because you've got a 3x in front. There's only one way to get that. Who can tell me, please, a factor pair for the 12 at the end? Just one out of the many factor pairs of 12. Who can tell me one of them? Go ahead. Who's got another one? Hang on, let me get that down first. 2 and 6. All right. Who's got another factor pair? Terrific. We got a 3 and a 4. What else? Yep. All right. Now, since it's negative, that means that we're going to have mixed signs. So let me throw sort of all of these, move these up maybe. So these are all my candidates, you know, filling in over there. We also need a plus and a minus. All right. So you're going to start this off, and you're going to give out 2 sets of parentheses. We're going to have a negative 1 in front. We've got 2 sets of parentheses. To start off with, you know what's going to have to be in those first positions. What would we have to have in those first positions? It's going to have to be in these first positions. Connor, what do you say?
3x and an x.
All right, so let's slide a 3x and an x in those first positions. Now, and you're lucky that it's 3 because 3 is prime. Your job now is to guess as to what's going to go here and here. When I FOIL it, I've got to get out a negative 16x. So go through and do that right now. We'll wait for 6 of you that can tell me what that's going to come out to be. We've got 1 so far. Thank you. 2. Thank you. 3. 4. You take the guess. It's not magic. You're going to try. It's not going to work. You erase and move on. Here's the 3 people. Grace P. Grace, did you get it or no?
Yeah.
What do you want to try?
Negative 1 times the quantity of 3x plus 2 times.
So hang on, so you want a plus 2, and that means what else would I have to have? Okay, now, I know, by the way, I would never even attempt this arrangement? Hands up, please, if you can tell me why I would not be attempting that arrangement. Yeah? The original only has a GCF of -1, so I know that the factor pair can't. Now, doing this out, first terms give me a 3x squared. The outside gives me -18 and a +2. -18 plus 2 gives me the -16 I was working on. Some of you, you'll see it, but I can assure you, the way to see it fast, like some of your peers will, if you don't see it fast, is you're going to have to go through and take those failed attempts. And you're going to get really, really good at factoring down. Questions on 8. Let's bounce down to number 9. What would your first step be, Corey S? What would your first step be in number 9? What's the first thing we always look for? So right away, I may not, and by the way, here's a shortcut. I may not be able to give a GCF, a greatest common factor, but I can give a common factor. Look at those coefficients. What goes into all 3 of the coefficients? At least. I would say even less than that right away. My first guess would be a 2, because they're all even. So you want to take out an 8. What else can you take out? Good. So looking at what's there, Sam, what would you have after you take out the 8y? Terrific. You all finish out factoring that remaining trinomial, please. Marissa T, did you get what this would be?
Yes.
What did you get?
8y times the quantity of 2y minus 1 times the quantity of y plus 2.
Could you have the 2 here? No. Because it would create a GCF. Immediately that's locked out. So you go from 4 choices down to 2 right away. Questions on that one? Now, this next one is actually a little difficult. What we're going to do is, let's bounce down to number 11. And what I'm going to do is, this looks different than what I've done before. So instead of freaking out and shutting down, I'm going to say, well, I can't factor this. And notice, by the way, is there a GCF for this expression as a whole? No. Is it a difference of squares? No. Is it a sum of perfect cubes? No. Is it a difference of perfect cubes? No. So those are the checklists that you go through for all of them to start. Now, this is a little bit awkward, and it's awkward because this right here is a y to the 4th and a y squared. It's not an x squared x. It's y to the 4th y squared. So what I'm going to do is, well, how would this look? How would this look a little bit different if I were to give you this instead? What we're going to call a related equation. So let's say I work with that to start. I'm going to wait for 7 of you with your hands up that can tell me what this related equation would factor down to be. Keep in mind, you're dreading this because 6 is in the front. You would wish that it was, let's say, 61 instead of 6. You're going to wish it was 11 instead of 6 because those numbers are composite. Or sorry, those numbers are prime and 6 is composite. So go through right now, though, figure out what needs to go in those positions. do the FOIL. If it works, terrific. If not, we'll try another guess. Sabrina S. You are. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want in these first positions?
The quantity of 2y plus 5.
All right, hang on. So we'll do 2y and y, and then the end you said this would be a plus 5, so that means this would be what?
Minus 4.
Good. Okay, let's check and see if that works. I've got, oh, wait a minute.
That should be 3.
Should be a 3, sorry. So looking at what I have now, in the beginning I have 6y squared. My outside terms together, when I multiply them, that's going to give me a value of -8. The inside terms give you positive 15. So 15 minus 8 gives you the positive 7. So this works out. Now, we're going to use this answer to inform what our next answer is going to be. Notice this trinomial factors down to these two binomials. With that in mind, can anybody tell me what this would factor down to, the original one? We did the related equation on the side, because it's related, but it's not the same. What do we think that this, right here, would factor down into? It's profoundly similar, only one little thing has changed. What do you think you'd want to change that into? One, two, three of you? Take the guess. Let me get picked if you get it wrong. What do you want to say? Why did you say those? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Now, any questions on that one? And by the way, how can you check to see if it works? Let's do the FOIL. First terms give me 6y squared. The outside terms are going to give me, in this case, this arrangement of them, would give me positive 15y squared, and then negative 8y squared. That leaves me with the 7y squared that I was looking to have. Here's one more, and this one is difficult. Take a look at this. Now I'm going to, again, look to get a related equation over in the margin. I look at this, and it looks similar to stuff we've done before. It's 2 times the quantity x plus 3 being squared, plus 5 times the quantity x plus 3 minus 12. My related equation on this would be 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. Well, actually, you know what I'll do? I'll change these from x's to t's because that's what I use in my answer. And maybe this will make it easier. So I'm going to take that binomial out and replace it with a single variable. You could use an a, you could use a b, you could use an x if you wanted to. We'll wait for 4 of you with your hands up that can tell me what this related equation will factor down to be. We've got no takers. 1 person. 2 of you. Again, make the guess. It's not going to work every time. Nikki? Did you get it? Okay, let's give it a try.
2t plus 3 plus 1 minus 4.
All right, let's see if that works out. First terms, I'm terrific, gives me the 2t squared. The outside, I've got a negative 8 and a positive 3. Negative 8 and positive 3 means I get a negative 5. Now, was it right? This is a part where I love too. You get so irritated. Is that answer right? No. Is it easy, though, to get the right answer from here? What do you have to do? Perfect. So we'll change this up, right? And we get this and then this. Now this works out. Now, knowing that we know what the related equation factors down to, here's what I did. Does anybody see how I could go from, I went from here to here. What do we think that this would factor down to be then? Well, then let's walk our way through. Here's the replacement that I made. Now, I'm going to replace this with t's like I said I was going to. So this and this are the same thing. We said that the equation with the t's in it factors down to that. The problem is I haven't factored the original, I factored a related equation. So what replacement do I need to make here in order for this to be, or to relate to the original? What do I need to put in that t spot? Go ahead. No, close. I'm going to fully replace the t with something.
You have to substitute in the x plus b.
That's perfect. So I get rid of what, because we made our t's be one thing. Now, here's another part that I love, is that we sit here, and this is where some of us stammer. And it's fine, I guess, but I look at this and I go, you all are very competent mathematicians. Look at this factor on the right-hand side. What is x plus 3 plus 4 going to become? X plus 7. What do I need to do on the right-hand side before I can combine like terms? It rhymes with distribute. Distribute out the 2. So we get to here. What's our final answer for this going to be? Because again, take it further. The toughest thing that we're doing is combining like terms. What is this going to simplify to? Yes. Okay. Now, is that difficult? Sure. My goal is not for you to come through with 99s and 100s if you don't know 99 and 100% of the material. I want you to get 100 on the Regents exam. So I'm going to show you every type of question that they possibly could answer and get you ready for college. Now, one of the things that I love, and normally this happens, they say, oh, you know, talking with them, oh, so mean, you know, all the time. Oh, I love it. I love it. Fine. I'm a giant, great big mean old lady. Wonderful. You know what the payoff is? I was sitting on my phone the other day in class, and I got this. Now, this wasn't from an Algebra 2 student. This was from a pre-calc student who failed the Algebra 2 exam. They didn't pass it. They never did. But they went on to pre-calc because they had the right credits. And then they went off to college. And this was the message that they sent back. Now, obviously, you can tell I'm a very humble person. They sent me a message. They go, oh, Calc 1 is a joke. Why? Now, I'm thinking it's a joke, meaning that they can't do it. Right? And they go, because it's just so easy. Now, obviously, who do you attribute all of that knowledge bomb that I dropped on them? Me. Why? Because I yell all the time. And I push you all the time. So what we're going to do for this, instead of giving you a test on all of this material, because now we've finished with all of our factorizations, instead of giving you a great big old test on it, what we're going to do is this. And that pre-calc test pointed out that I do something. Who's seen, like, if maybe they have like bowling, you know, there's those claws that go like down and you put the quarter in and you drop it to get the stuffed animal, the claw machine. Apparently I do my own version of claw machine when I put you in your local pairs. But there's going to be groupings of 4, and you're going to take, when we get a chance, you are going to get with your local groupings of 4. What we're going to have is, can you slide over, actually, wait a minute. There's both of you. Can the 2 of you slide over and work with those last 2 boys so that once we get separated for the groups, okay? You're going to send, once I tell you to, you're going to get with your group. Oh, you don't have to, you guys already picked up the group worksheet when you came in. It was the other assessment 3B. You're going to be able to work with each other, collaborate with each other. That means you actually have to have a discussion. So when you get into your groups and you're going to move your desks together and away from the other groups, you're going to say, normally it starts off with, hello, my name is, you know, Greg. And you say, well, hello, Greg. My name is Amanda. Nice that I'm in your group. And you're going to write down everyone's name goes on every sheet. You all are going to get the same grade on this, and it's the lowest grade out of the 4 papers or 3 papers. So you're going to want to make sure that you caucus and confer with each other. You're allowed to use your notes. You're allowed to use each other. We just ask that you go through and hand it in by the end of the period. It's 15 minutes to get done 6 or 7 questions. Let's have one of the local pairs over here. So these 4, put your desk together. These 4, oh, hang on, never mind. Can you just slide over then, one person? So this here will be a group of 5. You can use your notes and work with each other. Make sure you say, hello, my name is, so you can get everyone together. You 4 are together. You 3 for today. Somebody normally sits there though, right? I caught them. You 3 for today and you 5 for today. Get done worksheet 3B, please. Make sure everyone's name is at the top. You're supposed to be top. You can use your notes. You can go through and use your notes.
Okay, yeah, we are.
Help each other if you need it. This is your mark. Help each other if you need it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Make sure every member's name is on there.
Sorry, get that. I'm on the one because I didn't remember. I couldn't think of it fast.